Hi, everybody. Before we get into the review slash podcast of My Hero Academia Movie 3, I just wanted to let everybody know this is a podcast I thought I deleted. So, this was of the night of release for My Hero when it came out in our area. And we were so hyped to get it out there, but we had thought we deleted it. And by we, I mean Cameron and I. So, sorry it's so late, but for those of you who are watching, please enjoy our thoughts and review of the new My Hero movie, World Heroes Mission. Thank you, everybody.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Pipeline Podcast. I'm Kevin, your host, and I'm only here with my boy, co-host.
Camrin, you started really abruptly. It scared me for a minute. I was paying
Made you shit
attention.
yourself?
Yeah, I was paying attention to this fire hydrant, and all of a sudden I just hear you going, and I'm like, oh, we started.
Fire hydrant? We're not in the middle. Oh, you mean
extinguisher?
Extinguisher.
Yeah, fire extinguisher.
I was like, we're not in New York. They're everywhere in New York.
Oh yeah.
Everywhere. Speaking of New York, we're talking about Spider-Man again. Just kidding. Fucking with you. Those superheroes are rampant because we are talking about My Hero Academia, the newest movie,
World's Heroes.
World's Heroes. Yeah.
Good.
I don't know, like missions somewhere in that title.
I don't think so.
I think so.
You think so?
I think so.
I'll fact check.
But we saw that last night, so it's not as fresh in our heads as it was last night. But I still fucking thinking about it. So let's talk about it, baby. Because it was, and I'm proud to say this, fucking great. I love this movie. It's so good.
It's World Heroes Mission.
All right. World Heroes Mission, baby.
Yeah.
Camrin. We saw this together.
Yeah, we did.
It was fucking awesome.
It was a great movie.
It was so good. And I'm mad at my town for not having shown up more.
Well, you don't know who was all there, like original, like at 3:45.
Yeah,
the
but
first
for-
showing, because
for
we
how
were at the
many-
second showing.
For how many people are here? Should have
Yeah.
been an all-day thing. Should have been packed all day. And it wasn't. By the time we went there was like maybe 12 other people.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Even then, I still think it's gonna do good in box office reviews and all that.
Oh,
considering like how big Demon Slayer had done, that people are probably really eager to see anime movies in theaters.
Big question. What would you choose, Demon Slayer over this or this over Demon Slayer?
That's a tough one.
Cuz I personally would do this over Demons. I think this movie did a better job action and character-wise than Demon Slayer did.
I'm a really big sucker for like final boss movie fight scenes, and like Rengoku's fight was amazing.
Yeah, it was.
Like it was fucking beautiful. The animation looked amazing. The magic effects were amazing.
Yeah, it was so good.
It was really good.
But
like
this-
entire movie, yeah, I would have to say probably My Hero.
My Hero?
Yeah.
It's a hard decision.
Yeah, it really
Just
is.
because, I mean, like, the only reason... I'll get into it later, but I do think the character writing in this movie for its new characters is better than what
Oh yeah,
Demon
they
Slayer did.
definitely made you feel for they definitely made you feel for a character that they just put in, like no background history or anything like that. You really become attached.
Yeah,
to-
it's cheese charming. It's so...
Yeah.
I'm not saying Rengoku's not.
No, I'm not saying he's not either. But in the you did have like character development in the anime of like how Rengoku's attitude was.
Yeah.
And then you get a lot of him in the movie, and then now I guess now you're getting a lot of him in the show too because they're redoing Mugen Train in the show. Yeah, I really enjoyed the characters in this movie. Even the main villain. The main villain had a really sad story. It was really sad because his quirk repels everything, so he could never know affection.
Before we get into that, we're going to start with how it began, baby.
No, I'm gonna jump right into it.
Right into it. Yeah,
Right
I
to the
want to
end of
get
it.
into the meat of this
No.
bitch, too. But we got to explain the synopsis of this
gotta
bitch.
cut.
Got to cut deep into it. Yeah,
Get
because
right up in there.
this is my favorite show on planet Earth, and it's also my favorite thing on planet Earth.
Just for everybody to know, you don't necessarily need to be caught up in the show to know what's going on in the movie.
You absolutely do, though.
No, not really.
Yes, you
No,
do.
there is the only thing that you would have to 100% be caught up for would be to know what Black Whip is.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
but
it,
He
though.
doesn't master that until like later in season 5.
Well, even then,
Like,
he
when he
does a
shows-
really good job. When even at the first episode, he has Black Whip. He shows a degree of mastery almost immediately.
That's not true, because remember when he was training, he was like, I got a new power,
Yeah,
but I can only do this with it showing Endeavor.
yeah.
And he, like, it came out just a little bit.
Well, you got the whole. They say it a lot in the show. You have the whole heat of the moment and battle scenario.
I get you. Yeah.
So
he's
is
obviously mastered it now.
Good. Well, yeah, obviously.
Because
But-
in this, he's swinging around.
yeah. What I'm getting at though is like in that scene in the anime, it shows that if he really put his heart in it in a fight, he could easily use it to a masterful degree.
Yeah.
Like even though he's just showing little bits to Endeavor and whatnot, that's just what he can produce at that moment, knowing that it won't go crazy.
Right. Okay. I hear you out.
Yeah. You just have to know what Black Whip is. Honestly, you don't have to have the whole, because it jumps
If you're
right into
starting
it.
the show though, and then you see the Black Whips,
Yeah.
it's. I mean, like, a casual My Hero viewer can put 2 and 2 together instantly and spoil a lot of what season 4 and 5 delve into.
Yeah.
So, like, there are spoilers. You have to watch at least season 4.
Yeah. Well, even then, I wouldn't even call that spoiler, because it doesn't necessarily go into detail why he uses Black Whip or how he knows Black Whip.
Yeah.
So even then, it's not spoiler. If you jump into it not knowing about Midoriya's Black Whip, you're just going to be like, what is that?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't give you an explanation and spoil the show.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't do any of that garbage, but it does really good.
Yeah, no, the movie starts out with actually an attack, a huge fucking slaughter.
Oh my
Like,
god, it's insane.
This whole city just gets obliterated by this gas that I guess just like overpowered the quirk of each
Yeah, I guess
ability so much it would like overcharge them and
the
kill them.
street drug that they're dealing with in the overhaul arc, the main villain had turned it into like a gas he can mass produce, and I guess if you have too much of that drug, it will cause your quirk.
It's an overdose.
Yeah, it would cause your quirk to overdose and run rampant. It ended up killing you in a sense.
Yeah, and they have these bombs spread out around the world like this cult. I'm gonna call it.
They're a cult. I think they refer to them as a cult in the movie.
They're a straight cult. But the view on it is what overhauls. Like, they just want to eliminate quirks.
Yeah, they want pure humanity.
But it's not a gangster style way they're doing it. It's more like they're gathering the people who don't.
They're
have
doing it
quirks.
almost. They're doing it religiously.
Religiously.
Yeah.
And they kill off everybody in the city.
You need to
and
explain why they're doing that.
No, I am now. They're
okay.
they're gathering the. They
No,
kill
no,
off
no.
people with
Why they're
quirks.
killing people?
Oh no!
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, so their whole reason why they're getting rid of people with quirks, it's because of the quirk doomsday theory. The quirk doomsday theory is that as time goes on and quirks genetically mash together and evolve, it will eventually become rampant, uncontrollable, and can destroy the world.
Yeah,
That's the quirk doomsday
so they're
theory.
trying to stop that, and what they're doing is detonating these gas bombs that kill everybody that have quirks and leave the ones that don't for them to take in.
Yeah.
So they take them into their cult, and they brainwash them into their way of thinking, basically.
Yeah.
And he has not planted this bomb in like one location. He's planted bombs all around the world. So like all the heroes are on it. Like all of Class 1A, because they're in training with their agencies right now, are on the case all around the world. So it's really nice that the world building is here
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
just like enhance the world of My Hero Academia.
Yeah, and they add heroes from different locations, like the fucking Egypt dude. I can't get
The paper thin Egypt dude.
Yeah.
They have this like Egyptian pharaoh. What do they call it?
monolith or hieroglyphic.
Yeah. They're it's a hieroglyphic like drawing of an Egyptian pharaoh but he's like paper thin. And you don't see much of him, but like, I mean, the way you see him move in this movie is worth the stay alone, because they don't reveal that until like the very end and how he walks around.
It's whack. And it's
so
hilarious.
funny, dude. I started dying. So the heroes are on this case back on track.
Yeah.
And it's basically about Midoriya, Todoroki, and Bakugo and Endeavor's agency stopping the bomb in their location. But in their location is where this cult, like
The head of it.
the head of it is.
To what they think is the head of it.
Yeah. So you wanna go on from here?
Yeah, so they go to multiple different locations across the world on where like the cult has these churches, and every single group bomb rushes these churches at the exact same time, and turns out that the bombs aren't there and the main villain isn't there, so they like kind of start panicking and freaking out because they're just like, we got to find this guy because he has this deadly weapon and he could wipe people.
And then we meet one of our favorite characters, one of my favorite characters in like most of My Hero Academia anyway. For a one-time movie character, he's fucking really likable.
I was like,
his name's Rhodey. He's the new character in this movie. His name's Rhodey. He's a parkour god.
He really is.
He's a straight parkouring god. And
it's not even his quirk.
yeah, he watches over his two little siblings. One's a girl, one's a boy. So we got a little brother and a little girl that he watches
sister,
over.
Not a little girl. It's
Little sister. And so he has to do jobs for him, and because of the way his life has turned out, it's not like he can just go out and get a job. So he's got to do fucking side gigs. And he goes to this bar and gets tangled up in this cult through a job he got through this bar. He gets handed a suitcase while fucking the main trio of the show, Midoriya, Bakugo, and Todoroki, are chasing this gang that have this briefcase full of jewelry.
Yeah, because that was
the original plot.
Yeah. He needed the briefcase that he was going to trade for them for cash after they rob a jewelry store. And Midoriya, Bakugo, and Todoroki just happen to be in the area when the store gets robbed.
Yeah.
So they're chasing the villains trying to get the briefcase. And when they turn down this corner, the Rhodey's waiting there, and he gets handed the briefcase right away. And Todoroki continues chasing that villain, who was like some kind of wind tornado guy.
Yeah, he's a tornado. He could like turn himself into a tornado.
Yeah.
And like spin off. I don't know.
And then Midoriya runs in the Rhodey, sees that he has the briefcase, and goes after Rhodey.
Yeah.
And then this big chase scene between them commences.
Which I think is really weird because Midoriya's fast.
Yeah, well, I don't think it was the fast. Rhodey knew. I think Rhodey said something like in the beginning, like, this guy is really fast. I have to outsmart him.
Yeah, so because he knew the streets better.
Yeah, and so Rhodey starts, since he does this for a living, he's like parkouring and jumping through like tight areas, so Midoriya can't catch him, and Midoriya has to stop to think about what he's doing.
And he has a little pet bird.
Yeah, and he has a little pet bird helping him out. He like farts in Midoriya's face.
Midoriya goes to leap at him, and this bird just smacks him in the face and farts.
It just knocks him out cold. But yeah, no, and Rhodey. At first I thought Rhodey's quirk was like almost like foresight, but in more of the lines of Spidey sense. Like his reaction, I thought he had like enhanced reactions.
Yeah.
Because that's how he seemed, because he was so good at dodging Black Whip, and he was so good at just dodging lots of shit till near the end of the fucking movie, which kind of made me mad. I was like, you were this fucking good till now. Of course, plot armor. But he's a really cool character. He gives me Hawk vibes. Like,
immensely. But like any character who is slightly like in the color spectrum of blonde or brown, and it has like a chill personality, is instantly going to be classified, because Hawks is now that image of like, oh, it's cool to not care.
Yeah.
So like characters who don't care are instantly going to get compared to Hawks, especially if they have like brown or blonde hair.
Yeah.
Which is understandable. I mean, like, a lot of people are like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not uncommon to see multiple people have the same kind of character traits.
Yeah.
But what makes this really this character really stand out is the chemistry between him and Midoriya, because during this chase, up on a freeway, right when they're crossing a street, this chick shoots a car off of the freeway, and it ends up mixing the briefcase that he was holding with the briefcase that Rhodey was holding. So they looked exactly the same, and he grabbed theirs. And Midoriya finally catches up to him, and he's like, all right, show me the briefcase. He's like, listen, man, you don't have jurisdiction in this country. You just can't come over to my country and say, oh, let me see your briefcase. It's not going to work like that. He's like, well, I want to see what's in the briefcase first so I can move on and get back to my job. And he's like, you don't have jurisdiction. Where's my money? If you're gonna make me show you what's in the money, you gotta, or what's in the briefcase.
Show me the money.
Show me the money. If you want me to show you what's in the briefcase, you gotta pay me money. Midoriya's like, maybe I will. Just show me what's in the briefcase. He's like, flash that cash, baby.
Flash that cash, baby.
And so, like, Midoriya and him have, like, a little tussle, which Trace, like, during this part, because Trace was with us, he was like, why is Midoriya not just, like, pushing him into a wall or some shit, like, just instantly grabbing that briefcase? He's super strong. Well, like, he is a hero, and at this point, Midoriya is questioning if this guy truly is innocent.
Yeah.
So he doesn't want to hurt him in case he's not involved.
Yeah.
So, because nobody saw him get tossed the briefcase, they just saw him start running.
Yeah, they saw him with the briefcase.
Yeah, but they didn't see him get tossed the briefcase. Yeah. So there was, like, right there to be like, hey, I might be innocent. So, through cause of action of Midoriya being a little pushy, the briefcase opens, and it's just a bunch of paperwork.
Documents,
and it looks like a normal businessman's briefcase. And Midoriya gets all embarrassed, and this guy's freaking the fuck out. He's like, wait, what? Where's the fuck, like, in his head, he's like, where's the jewelry, man? It's supposed to be here. What happened? Where's the jewelry? And Midoriya's, like, trying to, like, hey, I'm so sorry about that, like, give him some condolences for the way he was acting.
Yeah, for getting into shit.
Yeah, and this whole time, this guy's just like, no, it's fine, leave me alone. I need to go. I need to get out of here. And he fucking, like, Midoriya doesn't end up letting him go. He's just trying to be helpful. He's super embarrassed and just, like, wants...
Midoriya's telling him, he's like, you sure you don't look okay? Like, I can help you. I'm sorry for what I did. And the guy's like, yes, I'm fine, leave me alone.
Well, while they're, like, that small last interaction happens, cops show up, and they all fucking point guns at both of them, and Midoriya gets in the way of him. He's like, stop, wait, he's innocent, there was nothing in the briefcase, and they start fucking firing at them. Midoriya grabs him, and they have this chase sequence that's really fucking kick-ass.
Oh, yeah.
And it shows how well the animation at Studio Bones Studio is.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they produce nothing but top quality animation. And one of these scenes, the way the camera angles are, to the way, even, like, Midoriya's, like, little personality shows through the way he swings, because sometimes he'll, like, stutter when he starts to go for a movement. Like, he'll question himself, and then he'll get it going. I noticed those little things. Like, he'll hesitate and actually look around before he starts just flinging around.
Because he don't got that spidey sense.
He also has a person in his hands, so he can't be careless.
Yeah.
Because he's going to give them whiplash if he's not careful. But he's swinging around this steel bridge, and it is by far one of the best, like, shot moments I've ever seen in any anime or any anime movie.
They do a really good job.
It's so good. Do you want to take over?
No, fuck you.
All right.
No, one thing I do kind of want to back up on, though, not on the movie, but when we went to go see the movie, since we went to go see day one, we got those mangas. We
got mangas. Fucking cool little mangas.
Yeah, it was real neat.
I'll go get those bitches.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, after that whole scenario, Midoriya and Rhodey are being shot at by that one bow and arrow quirk user. This chick is working with the cult and whatnot, and her ability is she can turn her pinky and thumb into a bow,
It's fucking cool.
Yeah, and so she has arrows on her and she shoots them and it does this like crazy arcing whatnot. She has like some control over it to a degree. And she is firing at Midoriya and Rhodey while they're being chased from the cops, like up on a hill. And Midoriya is like, we're being chased by cops and being attacked by villains. What's going on?
Yeah.
And so Midoriya ends up getting away and they're hiding out and they're trying to figure out what's going on. Well, Midoriya calls Todoroki and tries to tell him what's all been going on because they've been trying to get a hold of Midoriya for a while now. And while he's on the phone, the news says that Midoriya is responsible for like a mass homicide.
Yeah.
That he like killed 12 people or something like that. And so everybody starts freaking out because Todoroki's like, Midoriya, what did you do?
None of Class 1A believes it. There's no way Midoriya killed anybody.
Yeah, and Todoroki's like, Midoriya, what did you do? And he goes, what do you mean? All I did was take Rhodey away. Yeah, because they were shooting at him. And, of course, Todoroki believes him, and he's just like, oh, well, the news is saying this about you. Midoriya's like, what? No!
Yeah, Endeavor gets fucking pissed. He's like, what? So he goes to the police station located in that area, and he instantly gets in contact with the chief there, and he fucking slams his hands down. He was like, what is this nonsense? This shouldn't be happening. My student, my trainee would never do something like this. Ever. I know him. And, like, this officer's like, well, due to the case still being active, we can't give out any, like, information on our leads. You're somebody who's training him, so you're gonna have to vouch for him. I can't trust that kind of interference with our protocol. And, like, I guess that's understandable, but if I were Endeavor, I would get everybody, like every superhero in on this, be like, yo, what is going on?
Yeah.
What is happening? But no, he kind of just walks out and starts taking the case into his own hands as to try to figure out what's going on. And they find out that in every continent there's a bomb location except for one, and they choose that to be the real location of, like, the hideout.
You're jumping way ahead.
Yeah, I am. I am jumping way ahead. I kind of want to just get to the end of this so we could talk about our favorite scenes and get in depth.
Yeah, no, I get you. Jumping way ahead, there's just lots of conflicts between Midoriya and Rhodey the whole time that they're trying to get to the next country over because the police doesn't have jurisdiction in the other country, so Midoriya can't be, like, arrested for unrightful means and whatever, or shot at, basically. Midoriya only wants to worry about the heroes. He doesn't want to worry about law enforcement.
Yeah.
So him and Rhodey go on this really heartfelt adventure together and start building a good friendship and relationship along the way.
I was going to save this for last, but no, let's talk about this a little bit, because we are here. Like, I thought that their chemistry worked out really good. The fact that Midoriya had to team up with this criminal who, like, had this mindset of a thug was really nice to see. Because Midoriya, at a certain point during their adventure, he's like, hey, a bus is leaving. And he's like, well, let's go get a seat. He's like, it's full. We won't get one in time. He's like, no, let's go try. The bus starts leaving. So Midoriya's like searching in his pockets, and he looks over and sees Rhodey already on top of the bus. And Midoriya jumps on the bus. He's like, what are you doing? I said no. And he was like, listen, man, you can stay there if you want, but I'm catching this ride one way or another. And Midoriya's like, fine. And he, like, reaches through, he, like, looks through an open window at the top of the bus, and he, like, flicks in, like, two coins for both of their tickets. And he turns to him, he's like, I just paid for both of our tickets.
And Rhodey's like, yeah, we still have to be on the roof, huh?
Like, yeah, sorry about that. It was great to see Midoriya put in uncomfortable situations to where, like, he actually did care about this guy.
Yeah.
And didn't want to see him just thrown away in jail. He saw hope for this man, and he just saw the unfortunate circumstances. You wanted to talk about the little buddy road trip they had.
Oh, when they make out in the cave?
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. That shit's badass.
They just slap
Midoriya's confirmed gay.
They just slap on each other?
Yeah, dude. They slobbed each other's knob in that cave. Just kidding.
I hate this. No, Midoriya and Rhodey end up at some point in a cave together, or no, at first they're in a barn. They end up at a barn together, and they're sleeping on some hay. And Rhodey has a family, and Rhodey decides, I'm gonna make the tough call and help these villains out, so I can go back and see my family because I want to protect my brother and sister. So he ends up sneaking the briefcase away while Midoriya's asleep, and he goes over and he calls the villains and tells them where they are so they can have their briefcase. Well, Midoriya ends up getting woken up by, is it Pino? Yeah, Pino. Rhodey's little bird pet thing that's always with him named Pino. And Pino ends up waking Midoriya up, just freaking out, just screeching like a bird.
Yeah.
And Midoriya realizes that Rhodey's gone and the briefcase is gone, so he takes off to try to find him. And a helicopter lands, and Rhodey is like, here, the deal was I give you the briefcase, and you guys leave us alone. I can go see my family, right? And the guy starts going, oh, you might already know what's in the contents of the briefcase. I have to take you out now. And he starts transforming into this demon creature.
Midoriya totally called.
Oh yeah,
because he was like, why don't we just give it to the villains? He was like, because if we do that, there's no way we'd even get out unscathed. Plus, I just can't do that.
Yeah,
they probably think we know what's in this briefcase, even though there's nothing in this briefcase.
Yeah. And so, but that ends up happening, and I think that's when it kind of clicks in Rhodey's head. He's like, oh shit, he was right.
Yeah, Midoriya actually knows what's going on.
And so Midoriya shows up and just beats the shit out of this guy.
Kicks him into a goddamn mountain.
I think he kicks him once, and he blocks it just to keep from Rhodey being hit or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he backs off, pulls Rhodey away. And then he does a fucking Air Force kick and it just shoves this guy into the fucking helicopter. The helicopter explodes. Midoriya was literally, I got time for your shit.
Yeah, the bow and arrow lady was with them too.
Yeah.
And she shot him in the fucking chest.
Yeah, well, she shot at Rhodey and Midoriya jumped in the way.
Jumped in the...
And he took an arrow in the chest for Rhodey, just like he took that dick in
He's
his
a hero,
ass,
man.
But...
That's why I love Midoriya.
Yeah.
Midoriya's my favorite character in all of anime just because of how genuinely nice he is.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy, and I really like that. It's charming.
But they end up getting away from the arrow chick again, and Rhodey and Midoriya just have this heartfelt conversation. While, of course, Midoriya being Midoriya, how he attaches to everybody.
Yeah. It's kind of a fucking wear my heart on my sleeve kind of guy.
Yeah, he's a fucking Naruto all over again. But
I love it.
Yeah. But they end up becoming really good friends, and the next morning, Rhodey ends up, stealing a fucking minivan.
Yeah.
And Midoriya is like, but wait, well, you can't just take that. And Rhodey is like, no, it's okay. I left an IOU from the World Heroes Association. And Midoriya is like, all right, I guess that's okay. And so they take this van on this really long adventure into the other country.
Yeah.
And then they finally get there. Beforehand, Midoriya had texted Todoroki a secret code that had the country's name in it.
Yeah.
And so that's how they were able to find out where Midoriya was at. Anyway, Midoriya starts getting attacked by the bow and arrow chick and a new villain, and his quirk is weird. He has these balls he produces out of his knuckles that get 5 times their size.
Yeah,
or something crazy.
He can control the how big they are.
I bet you it's in here.
Probably. In the little manga we got? Oh yeah, baby.
Called.
These are so cool. This has when we got in, they gave us these mangas. They're short little mangas.
Yeah.
And they have concept art and stuff about the movie, animatic panels. It's really neat.
It is really cool. So this bald guy, his name is Sidro, and his quirk is called Iron Ball. It gives him the ability to produce and shoot iron balls from his knuckles. He has a fair amount of control over these massive iron balls, ranging in size from an egg or something bigger than his body. So he can control them 100%, their size and what they do and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then the chick that's been chasing Midoriya throughout this whole thing, her name is Burros, and her quirk is Longbow. She can transform her fingers into a bow, which she can shoot anything with absolute control. So it's not just arrows. She can shoot anything and have absolute control over it. Although she cannot produce the weapons for her bow, she imbues enough power in them to penetrate vehicles.
Which is sick.
Yeah.
I really like the quirks of the villains in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Out of all of them, I think they're the most interesting.
Yeah. They all had some pretty neat things of their own.
Oh yeah, tons of stuff. But as this goes on, you see Rhodey and Midoriya's friendship strengthen, and after they get away from them, they end up in a cave, and they have like, he's like, "Why'd you take the arrow for me?" Midoriya gives his whole little spiel about just wanting to help people and be a hero. But Midoriya goes like, "What about your quirk? What's your quirk? I haven't seen you use it." And he was like, "Well, it's a little embarrassing." He was like, "Promise you won't laugh." And the camera pans up during that scene and ends the scene before he reveals what his quirk is.
Yeah, so as the fans were still suspense, what is it?
Yeah. Trace and I died. We were in our seats just just fucking giggling to ourselves. And it's funny because we were thinking the exact same goddamn thing.
Oh, yeah.
Showing him his dick, isn't he?
Showing his dick, isn't
So we were dying in that theater. There were a lot of funny moments in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Demon Slayer was fun, one of the funniest anime movies I've seen, but this tops Demon Slayer's comedy, I think.
Yeah, they did
Just
really
a
good.
little bit. Just a little bit.
Kevin had brought up a good point. They have these scenes where the animation could have been a lot better, but I think they just wanted it to be goofy, and that was their budget cuts.
Yeah.
Just goofy little
And
scenes.
instead of being let's just budget the animation on this scene, they're like, no, we'll budget the animation on this scene, but we'll make it funny too.
Yeah.
And that's what they did every time. For example, there's a scene where they leave. Where'd they leave? They left somewhere. Midoriya, Bakugo, and...
Oh, no, it was Bakugo
and Todoroki
It
from
was
the
right
agency.
It was right after they got the message from Midoriya.
Yeah, and these three cops, come out from behind the alleyway. They're really low-budgetly slide across the screen.
They, just walk.
Tiptoeing, all, cartoon style. And I thought that was hilarious.
It was gold.
It made me crack up. But little scenes like that, there's another scene where Rhodey, when he was running from Midoriya, he hops on a subway tram, and he starts leaving, and Midoriya couldn't catch it in time. The tram's going, and you see the conductor in the background just doing his thing, and Rhodey's all "Whew, I'm glad I lost him, man." He's wait. He's checking his pockets for something. He's "Oh, did I leave this?" He's "Crap, where did I put that?" And in the background, you see Midoriya slowly caning on the train.
And the conductor's freaking out.
Yeah, he's freaking out in the background. What the? Whoa. You don't hear him because it's closed off by a glass panel. But Midoriya hops on the fucking window of the back of this tram, and they all just start fucking screaming.
It's so good.
But moments like that are what I'm saying, because when he was running, it was low budget as well.
Yeah.
But when they had to save on budget cuts, they used it in a pure comedic style that was super self-aware. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was really good.
I couldn't help but adore that shit, because I'm hey, at least they didn't just use CG in this shot.
Yeah.
When they needed to save on a budget.
Which is one thing that they did that
Demon Slayer did.
Yeah, Demon did CG at some point in their fights, but this never did.
This never did.
Ma-
Never had a CG Well,
yeah.
There was one moment.
Where?
It was when Endeavor was holding the bomb, and he was flying with it. When he was flying away, I saw very subtly they used CG in that moment.
Oh, okay.
But
even then, it wasn't a major scene.
No,
it was only a few seconds.
No fight scenes used CG.
Yeah,
it
which was
all
really
hand
cool.
drawn.
Yeah.
Or animated. 2D
Yeah.
animated.
Not saying that the CG fights in Demon Slayer or Dragon Ball are bad.
No, because
those
they're
were really
still
good. Yeah.
But the fact that
they were able to compete that level without CG.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. After the cave scene, you want to continue with this?
Yeah. So after all the scenario, when they get to the next country, they're fighting that ball guy we talked about and the bow chick. And as they're fighting, Todoroki and Bakugo show up, and Todoroki explains, I was able to decipher your message, and because of all the explosions and stuff going on over here, we figured this was you. And so Bakugo and Todoroki help join in the fight. They end up winning and defeating the villains. They both ended up dying because they captured one villain, and Todoroki is the villain starts preaching. He's please, if you let me go, I'll tell you anything. And Todoroki's like, oh, okay, that's a deal. And then the arrow chick shoots him and kills him, kills the guy. And then after they like stop her helicopter, she like commits suicide.
Yeah, she's just like, all right, later, and like jumps off.
Yeah.
Right down into the pit of nothingness they call a cliff.
Yeah. And so they end up getting away for everything, and then they find a little secret compartment that was in the suitcase, and there was a little puzzle in there. Well, Rhodey has a flashback to the exact same puzzle his dad had, and it was the exact same one, and his dad showed him how to unlock it and how to get inside of it. And so Rhodey starts unlocking and doing the puzzle himself, and he ends up getting it open, and they find an SD card and like some weird chip, some really long chip.
It's like a purple, rectangle chip.
Yeah. And so they take the SD card to a computer and they plug it in and they pull up all these files, and Bakugo gets a smart idea. He was like, just click the most recent file that was opened because that's the one we'll want. And he opens it up and they end up learning where all the they end up learning that the chip that's in there is to help destroy the thing, and that Rhodey's dad was the one that helped develop it, and he died in the process making it.
Which sucks.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't even tell you directly that it was Rhodey's dad. You just see Rhodey's face when they say the name, which I enjoy that subtlety.
Yeah. And so before all this, Rhodey had explained that he had thought his dad abandoned his family to join the cult. And after that scene, Rhodey starts having doubts on what was really going on, and then later learns soon after that they had kidnapped lots of scientists and used their families for ransom. And so Rhodey puts two and two together that that's what happened to his dad, that his dad was kidnapped and forced to work for them, otherwise his family was going to get killed.
Yeah.
And so, that's the whole reason why Rhodey's had a horrible growing up childhood. It's because his dad was associated to this cult that was led to believe that he was a member. So society kind of like threw Rhodey under the bus and his family because they were like, oh, who knows what kind of traits they picked up from his dad being a part of that cult. And whatnot.
He was a victim of circumstance.
Yeah. And so, but it goes on and they find out, and then that's when it's broadcast by the cult that they have bombs in all these locations around the world, and the heroes have to find them, and the heroes take it upon themselves to try to find the bombs and take them out of the cities. And due to some like smart analytics, Todoroki starts pulling up files that they have on the SD card of locations that are marked on a map. And Todoroki puts it together that, wait, these aren't the bomb locations, these are the church locations, and there's one location that's not being broadcasted on the bombs.
Yep.
And he puts together that that's where their secret base must be. So they end up hijacking a helicopter that not a helicopter, a plane. Then Rhodey flies them over to that country that they're in.
Yeah.
And then a big old fights start commencing.
Oh my god. And they're so good because Bakugo gets left with this one guy who...
Two guys.
At first, it was one guy.
Yeah.
And this guy, he can like he has whips with blades that come out of his body. Mm. And it's just a serrated whip, basically. And Bakugo has to take him down, but then there's two of them. Like, he has a twin brother.
Yeah.
And they both have the same quirk. And fuck, man.
Yeah.
Like, Bakugo with one of them, like you were saying.
Yeah. Bakugo could have tore one up if it was just one.
Oh, yeah.
But Bakugo would get one in a corner, and then another one would, like, hit him from behind.
And
it would
stab him.
Yeah, and it'd fuck him up. And that whole fight was really good. Bakugo gets the upper edge at one point because while chasing them, he ends up planting a whole bunch of bombs everywhere. And all the bombs go off and to what he believes crushes them.
Yeah.
And he thinks he wins. And then they end up injecting themselves with the drug.
Trigger.
Yeah. And then they get their quirks enhanced, and then the real fight begins.
Yeah. And Bakugo's already fucked up at this point. Like, he is bleeding profusely.
Yeah, he's been stabbed through already.
His spine's gotten, like, shredded. Like
Yeah.
his back has just gotten shredded by these things.
He's his eyes popped, like there's blood vessels in his eyes popped. His
Yeah.
eyes all red and shit.
Yeah. He's just getting fucked up.
Yeah.
Midori or Todoroki starts fighting this one guy. He's in here too.
Yeah. I don't think they ever say his name.
No, they don't ever say this guy's name. Luckily, we got the manga, but I guess his name's Leviathan.
Leviathan.
And his character profile says, yeah, that's what it says. And it's
Let's jump into his quirk.
yeah, his quirk is Helical Scythe. It allows the user to create water twisters from the fingertips and horns on its head. And the water twister attacks cover an extremely wide range and pierce all objects like a drill.
Neat, because they don't even jump into when like he can manipulate heat as well.
Yeah, yeah. His quirk evolves midway through the fight,
Yeah.
which is pretty crazy. But
Yeah.
Todoroki has to face this guy, and it reminded me a lot of like the Godzilla versus Kong fight, because like Godzilla dragged Kong underwater, like trying to drown him.
Yeah.
The same thing happens with Todoroki. This thing ends up like trying to drown him, and he freezes the water.
No. So, he has
God, I can't remember.
he has his own like water he has in his body that he produces and whatnot. So while controlling it, he's like holding Todoroki with his water while being sent through this current of water.
Yeah.
So Todoroki tries to break out of it by freezing the water, but he can only freeze like what's holding him basically.
Yeah.
And he does it constantly, and it kind of cuts away, but it comes back to the fight. And Todoroki ends up like not actually breaking through, but there's an opening near the end of the river or the water system that they're in, and it shoots him out into the air. And then Todoroki, it's raining outside, and Todoroki makes this like ice prison with the rain that
It's
wraps
so
around
cool.
the guy. Yeah,
It
it
was
was
so
real cool.
nice.
And then he does his famous like heat wave flash or whatever he calls it.
Yeah, where he like heats up the ice really quickly.
Yeah, so it
Just makes it
explodes.
explode.
And then he does his like Hellfire's Fist or whatever
Yeah.
it's called.
It's like strongest attack.
Yeah, it's
But
just
it's
strong as
because
heat
it
or
like
whatever.
when he did his first move, like exploded the ice, this creature's quirk evolved mid fight. And like
allowing him to manipulate
engulfed
fire.
Todoroki along with itself, like in magma is what it looked like.
Yeah.
And he ends up just eating Todoroki, and Todoroki from the inside like sees how the bigger version of him is just a puppet controlled by
A littler one.
Leviathan.
Yeah.
And he ends up using his flash fire fist on him, like inside his magma body, and just blows him up from the inside.
Yeah, it just tears him apart.
All meanwhile, Midoriya gets to the big baddie of the movie.
Which we haven't said his name at all, which I
Yeah, his name's Flecked.
Flecked.
Yeah, like reflect.
Hey.
Yeah, yeah, but I really
Flecked
liked his
turn.
costume design.
Oh yeah, Fleck looked really cool. So Fleck's quirk is Reflect. It allows the user to reflect all types of energy. He usually wears an exoskeleton device called an arcane that controls reflections, changing the direction of the energy. So it kind of has this like weird like suit thing where when he takes damage, he can direct it any way he wants. And it's not even damage. He completely repels things that come at him.
Yeah.
Like even small things, like he was saying, like so they get into a big talk on like why is Fleck doing this and why he's evil and whatnot, yada yada. And he goes on to explain that he hates quirks because his quirk he can't ever turn off. He doesn't know how to turn it off. In his whole life, he's done nothing but push people away because he can't get anything because he reflects it all.
He couldn't even
bounces.
hug his parents.
Yeah. So he had a whole childhood where he couldn't hug his parents. He ended up having a girlfriend for a long time that he was going to like marry or whatnot. And she ended up leaving him. And he went into deep depression and actually admits that he tried to commit suicide, but he can't. His body naturally won't let him because it reflects it. And so he ended up taking matters in his own hands and wanting to wipe all quirks.
Yeah.
And so that's why he's the leader of this cult. And and then Midoriya and him start going at it. Well, Midoriya goes at himself basically the entire fight.
Yeah, he throws a punch and he gets knocked back because it just reflected the smash he tried to smash the guy, smashed him back.
Yeah, it smashed him back.
Well, midway through this fight, or before the fight, I can't remember which one. I think it was like right before the fight, Rhodey walks in the room.
No, that was midway.
Midway?
Was
Yeah,
midway.
okay. All right. So I'm not remembering it wrong. I always think I am. Freaking Rhodey comes into this room mid-fight and is like, I got you, Midoriya, because Midoriya is fucked up. Like, Midoriya can't dodge these lasers while being reflected, because at that point it's almost random to where they end up.
Yeah.
So, like, he gets caught up in this laser prison. Just a ton of lasers that hit him multiple times. He's just getting fucked up.
Yeah, Midoriya's getting eaten.
Yeah, and he's bleeding a lot. There's a surprising amount of blood in this movie. I didn't expect there to be that much blood. But Midoriya gets shredded, and Rhodey comes in and like holds his body while he's about to fall to the floor. He's like, "Here, let me fix this," and he like grabs the chip that Midoriya had in his little bag on his side, and he starts walking up to the villain with it. And Midoriya is like, "What are you doing?" And he's like struggling to get up, but he can't. And Rhodey's explaining to him like, I figured, the guys that I talked to outside of the helicopter. They surrounded me with guns, and they said that if I did this, they would save my hometown.
Yeah, they won't let the bomb go off and kill his family.
Yeah, and he was like, if it has to go down between everybody and my family, I choose my family. And Midoriya is like struggling to get up. He's really trying. And he looks up and he sees freaking Pino, the bird that Rhodey has in his little hoodie.
Yeah.
He like gives him a wink. And it's to indicate, obviously, that it's a setup.
Yeah.
And right when the bird does a signal, Midoriya goes to punch. And Rhodey just starts kicking it to the fucking exit.
Oh, yeah.
Or like, not to the exit, but the server room. To where he can, like, that chip was designed to stop the bombs.
And on his way there, lasers get activated and Rhodey just gets...
Like, right through, right through a kidney. Like,
yeah.
Oh, man, like, lower abdomen. Shot right through. So he falls to the ground, and he's not, from what we've seen, just a normal guy. He doesn't really have power that we've seen yet.
Yeah.
So he's kind of just sitting there bleeding out, struggling to get there. And Midoriya is getting the shit kicked out of him. But he's fucking like, every hit. He goes in, he'll punch this guy, and he'll get fucking blown back into a wall, but he'll just come right back, like no reaction time. And I love how they took that from Bakugo's fighting style. He like made it into his
no matter
own.
how much damage he's taking.
Just keep going.
Back.
Don't give him reaction time.
Yeah.
And it ends up actually wearing down this guy's little reflection wall.
Yeah, this guy never had experience that his quirk has a limit.
Yeah.
And so Midoriya starts breaking that limit because all quirks have a limit to a degree.
Yeah.
And so Midoriya starts breaking down this guy's limit. So Rhodey ends up getting back up, but he's like bleeding out as he's going down this giant flight of stairs to the main computer to shut off these bombs, right? And so, Flecht has these cameras or TVs all the way around the room that are showing the different areas and all the different heroes fighting, which every hero at this point are finding bombs, but finding out that there's more than just one, and also fighting against the cult. So they're all having problems. Everybody's having issues trying to fight everybody.
Yeah.
And there's a videotape of like what's going on with fucking Rhodey. Like it shows Rhodey bleeding out and like trying to get to the thing.
Yeah.
And the whole time Midoriya's fighting and just going ape shit, trying so hard to beat this guy. And it shows Rhodey collapse right in front of the thing, and you like, and right before that, it reveals what Rhodey's quirk was.
He controls Pino.
Yeah, his quirk is Pino shows his true emotions or what he's feeling.
Yeah.
And so Pino's the physical manifestation of his feelings, and he explains that's how he can't lie to people because Pino would reveal it. And so when Rhodey falls, you see Pino fall from him too, and Pino starts fading, like indicating that Rhodey's dying.
Yeah.
And so Midori starts going just ape shit.
Dude, he goes 100%.
Yeah.
Full on, like.
And he does this whole crouch punch thing. And he's all...
He does what he did against Overhaul, dude. And the animation that he does with Overhaul, like every
it's
punch
just
he's
as
thrown,
good.
it's reminiscent. Like he throws a punch and his fist is all orange from like the heat of how he's moving, how fast he's going.
It's just so good.
It's so cool to see that, and especially like a guy who can withstand more than just a singular punch from Midoriya, just to see how hard Midoriya can go.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's
Midoriya
about...
does United States of Smash.
Oh my god. Straight through the building, dude. This guy obliterated. The whole building shatters.
Yeah. Which he lives. The guy lives.
I know.
And so Midoriya ends up beating Reflect while like in the fight. Reflect's like, how could you do this to my quirk? How is this possible? And Midoriya is like, you see, that's where you and I are different. You gave up. You gave up and became this nasty villain when all you had to do was see that you have to exceed your limits and your quirk would turn off.
Yeah, he was like, it's nothing more than laziness. I was like, damn, way to put salt on the wound.
Oh, yeah. Midoriya just obliterates
he like
Fleck.
verbally and physically obliterates him because he straight calls him out. And he's like, you got lazy is what you did.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck. Oof. Way to get told off by a fucking 17-year-old.
Oh, yeah. Then once Midoriya beats Fleck, he runs down as fast as he can to get to Rhodey. And when he walks into the room, he sees Pino had put the chip inside of the device, turning off all the bombs. And he goes over to Rhodey and he's manhandling him. No,
yeah, dude, they have this like cute little moment where he's like, "You're not gonna die. You know, medics are on their way." And
Rhodey's like, "I protected the world like my dad did too."
Yeah, it's a nice little moment. Resolution, conflict ended.
They start fucking like laugh crying.
Yeah, they start like crying together and laughing together.
Yeah, I looked over at Trace. I was like, you just see Rhodey every time he laughs. It's just like you see blood spray out. Just bleeding out.
But yeah, day saved. Rhodey gets to go back home to his family and fuck up his life some more. I don't know. Like it doesn't.
Now
really...
he gets a job. He gets a job.
Oh yeah, he does get a job at the bar. Yeah,
Yeah.
he goes into the bar that he would get shady jobs from.
Yeah.
He talks to the guy that owns it, and he's like, "Well, it just so happens that I had somebody quit on me, so you could take his place and help me out, I guess."
Yeah.
So he got like a real job, doing good with his family, shit like that. All resolved, and Midoriya's back with Endeavor, Todoroki, and Bakugo.
Oh yeah.
They're just in their little agency together, and that's how the movie ends.
Yeah.
But fuck, it was a good hour and 40 minutes.
It really was. The movie was really enjoyable. I give it a solid 9 out of 10. I loved it.
Oh yeah, dude. I'd give it a 9.
It would be 10 out of 10 if they had their outfits the entire time. No.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I was about to say, can we talk about their outfits in
Yeah.
this movie? Because it was fucking dope.
So the first 10 minutes of the movie, characters walk in with these black hooded outfits with the outline
their
of their
stealth
costumes.
suits.
Yeah, it's their stealth suits. And Bakugo, instead of the giant grenades out of his gauntlets, he has flash grenade
Yeah,
designs.
they're octagonal.
Yeah, and it's so freaking cool. And then they every single one of their suits get messed up, and then they never see it again, and it kind of sucks.
I
loved
know.
it.
You think that he'd fucking Korohoshi or Horikoshi?
He teased the fuck out of those suits,
You
dude.
think that he'll bring them back?
Maybe he might.
Because I really hope they get brought back. I really liked Midoriya's fucking stealth suit. I
Really
liked
cool.
the black hoodie with the slim ears on top.
Yeah,
It was cool to see that.
it was really neat. It was really cool.
Oh my god, it was such a good movie.
Oh, yeah.
The chemistry between Midoriya and Rhodey, it's it's so fun because it's just I love seeing characters do bad things but not want to do bad things.
Yeah.
And Midoriya to be in that situation of awkwardness, to be I don't want to physically make him stop, but
Yeah.
I can't I can't let him get away with it.
Yeah.
It's fun to see that, and like the development of, you see Rhodey like actually admire Deku by the end of the film.
Yeah.
Instead of just want to do his own thing. He's like, maybe there is hope. You know, maybe there's hope for me. I could be more than this. And Deku he hints that he could be a pilot.
Yeah.
Straight tells him, like, you could be a pilot for heroes, you know, like to drop them in on missions and stuff.
I think Rhodey's considering doing that. So.
Oh, I'd love to see, like, later on in a season, just to see him, like, flying a plane or, like, on an airfield.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it'd be really neat to see that. I really hope, like, because this is, I'm pretty sure this is canon.
I think all the movies have been canon.
Yeah. From what I've understood, all movies are canon so far. I don't know if this is any different.
I definitely know for a fact that the first movie is 100% canon because...
They mention it in seasons.
Yeah, not just that, but because in the manga even, Midoriya, when he goes... a little bit like for future spoilers, so anybody that don't want to hear it, you know, don't listen to this part. But in the future, Midoriya, when he goes vigilante, he has the arm wraps from the first movie.
Yeah, which is neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 on this one. Good job, Studio Bones.
What was your favorite scene?
My favorite scene's gotta be... It's a mix between Bakugo's fight scene and Midoriya's fight scene.
Fucking Bakugo's, fuck, what's it called? I said it earlier.
You did say
his final move.
Yeah. I forgot. The howitzer.
Yeah, howitzer missile.
Yeah.
His howitzer missile in this movie.
Oh my
really
god,
good.
it's so good.
Beautiful.
It's so good. The whole fight between Bakugo and the twins was stellar.
Oh yeah.
But the fight, like when he goes 100%, that was in my head. I went off as much as I did when I saw Captain America get Thor's hammer. Like when I saw his eyes spark up, I was like, oh my god, no way, he's coming back. I want to see this. And like it can be repetitive. I mean, like they could turn that into a Super Saiyan basically for him.
Yeah.
And they could overuse it, but I'm excited because every time they use it, it's fucking eye candy on screen at every moment, and it's so good.
Yeah, Midoriya, when he went 100%, it was just beautiful.
The fluency in animation in this movie is so good. Characters bounce around naturally when they like stumble and talk.
Yeah.
Like they fall to the floor and they like bounce like somebody would.
Yeah, when they hit the ground, they like bounce a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really cool to see that level of detail in the character motion for My Hero Academia in a movie. I really am excited to see more movies.
Yeah, they did a really good job. And I think you were telling Trace was saying, you and Trace were saying that Trace was like, man, I wish he'd go 100%. Then like 5 seconds after, he's all
right before that scene, Midoriya's like, he should just go 100%. I was like, yeah, he should. And then like his eyes sparked, and Trace and I looked at each other like, oh, we were like, yeah.
No, Nicole got all excited too. She's like, is this a new quirk? And I was like, no, even better. She's all, what? Like, he's going 100%. And she's all,
oh, dude, it was so cool to see that.
It was so good.
When he was running around the room and he created, like, that blue ring around the room, that was so fucking cool. Flawless.
And then the scene where he's just crouched. And
he crouches and punches the air.
So, what it was, I don't know if you picked up on it, but what he was doing was the exact same motions that All Might did against Nomu.
Yeah.
So the scene that if you guys remember, All Might crouching, punching as fast as he can on the Nomu. That's exactly what Midoriya is doing. So imagine on that little body. He's all like,
I want a gif of it.
Dude, it's so good.
But I mean, like, it looks silly, but what he was doing was pretty great. Because he was overpowering his shield and just wearing it down at that point.
It was so
every
good.
punch was wearing down his shield significantly.
And he had no idea. Yeah, that's the best part about it, too, is, like...
He's just standing there watching this kid go full on.
Yeah, and
Fleck... Like, what the fuck?
Fleck the whole time...
Wait, why do we have to turn on the Xbox?
I don't know. But it's on.
It's on. But yeah... No, this movie's so freaking good.
It is really
It's
good.
so good, and I'm so glad that anime movies are coming to our theater.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait for more.
Just so everybody knows, we're in a small town, and the guy that owns the movie theaters up here, for some reason, just has a big disgust for anime movies.
They don't find a real film.
Yeah, and so
We've had to go to Phoenix.
Yeah, we went to Phoenix to see Demon Slayer, and because
And Dragon Ball Super.
and Dragon Ball Super, and because Demon Slayer was doing so big in the box office, our theater decided to show it here. Which I'm guessing is the only reason they put the My Hero movie here, because they were like, wow, we actually got some good revenue from Demon Slayer.
Yeah,
so
they saw the potential. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, all it takes is one time, and you'll notice.
Oh, yeah.
That's all it takes. Some kid that was sitting next to us left his freaking book.
Yeah. I'm surprised he did.
It's mine now.
The manga book. Trace got gotten a book and he
copies.
like scuffed it up because of his hot, sweaty fucking hands.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
He really scuffed it up, dude. Like if you look at the front, you can see like fingerprints and shit of where it's like fucking up the artwork.
You could barely see it on this one, but this top corner is rough. And that, I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is
It
either.
looks like crayon just smeared on the side of it.
Anyway, but the mangas are really cool. They're really cool.
Yeah,
Extra
it was
features,
so
artwork.
neat. I plan on selling the good condition one.
Oh,
This
yeah?
one I just plan on keeping.
Okay.
Yeah. 'Cause I don't know if these will go up in value. Probably not.
Nah,
but
probably
whatever.
But the movie was excellent. It was so good. Me and Kevin had a little talk about it earlier, but like out of all three of the movies, my favorite one is still the second one. I like the animation and the art style. Everything in the third one was so much better. But I am a big sucker for like the villains and like these stories and whatnot. And 9 was definitely more threatening than Flecht.
Yeah.
Like all Flecht had going for him was shit. He planted bombs everywhere and he has like control over it. Scary shit, right? But when it comes to sheer like quirk power, 9 just had Flecht beat, and it was insane.
In terms of broad strength, yes, but lethality. I mean, with this gas bomb, he could have fucking killed the world.
Yeah. But that's not his quirk. That's just something that he
No.
had scientists put together.
He was
for him, and
smarter
just
than
had to
9.
switch.
He's smarter
Yeah.
than 9.
Well,
Nine's just more powerful.
That's not necessarily true too, because all Fleck did was collect the scientist to make the bomb. He didn't do it. He wasn't intelligent to make the bomb. He kidnapped scientists from families and made them do it.
Yeah, but he organized the group.
Yeah, he organized the cult, but like
Yeah.
it could be out of straight fear. It literally was made out of straight fear. Like that's the whole point of the cult.
Yeah. I think he's smarter.
Well, then you were saying that fucking that you think. Well, I guess it is true. Shigaraki. I was gonna say you're saying Shigaraki's smarter than 9, but he kind of is.
He is smarter
He's
than
a lot
9.
smarter than 9.
Yeah.
Shigar-
9 kind of just was like, I need that kid at all costs. He didn't
Yeah.
even try to plan it through.
No.
He was just like, I'm gonna walk in there and take that kid.
But that's why I think that's why it was scary though, because I don't think like when it comes to Flecht, if Flecht had to deal with both Bakugo and Midoriya,
Oh my
dude, he would have
God.
been screwed.
Bakugo's blast alone. I don't
Yeah.
know how Bakugo. I think Bakugo could take his own blast like 100% and
Oh,
still
yeah.
be okay
Oh,
because
yeah.
he deals them.
Yeah.
Like if he were to have that blast come right back at him from doing his super move, like he pulls.
His howitzer missile.
That's what it's called.
Oh, you're talking about is like when he collects the sweat in his grenade and he pulls the pin.
Yeah. When he
You know
does that,
he can do that himself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he just can't. He just doesn't.
It'll break his muscles. Though.
Yeah, because it hurts really bad. When
Yeah.
He does it.
Yeah. I think that this is better than the second movie.
It's I just
In
loved
terms of
the villain in the
villain?
second movie. I love the villain a lot more. In the second one.
In terms of not villain, I mean in terms of characters
Oh yeah, characters.
and like animation, this movie's better than the second movie. But
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think the villain from the
second
second
one.
movie is better than this villain.
Yeah,
Because this villain, it's just a cult,
yeah,
and it like just humans. At
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Like, they don't
what-
even have superpowers.
exactly. And like what I'm saying is like Fleck's only like thing he has going for him is the fact that he has bombs everywhere.
Yeah.
Like that's it. When you have 9, who's a fucking literal walking powerhouse.
Yeah.
That took
That took 200% of all,
Yeah.
all for one or one for all.
Took 2 One for Alls to fucking take that bitch out.
What would you rate? I'm very tempted to do podcasts on the first and second movie.
Like we can do
But-
an overall.
Yeah, and for those who want to listen to that, go to those when we release them. But what would you rate the first movie?
The first movie, like, I don't know how to explain. The first movie didn't pique my
It's
interest.
6.5
all too
for
much.
me.
Yeah, I would have to say that. Because the first movie was just extra story, is the way I kind of took it.
Yeah, but you saw All Might and Midoriya fight side
Yeah,
by side
yeah.
for the only time you ever will.
Yeah, that's true. And you get a little bit more of All Might's like history
Yeah,
as well when he was in
yeah.
America and all that. Which all that's kind of neat. Everything leading up to that though is kind of slow.
It was.
It's really slow.
That and seeing All Might being held hostage was weird.
Yeah.
It was really weird.
But it was still a decent movie, but the second one's definitely a 9. I fucking loved Bakugo and Midoriya when they both had One for All.
Oh yeah.
Like that was the best shit I ever seen.
Yeah, that was so good.
Oh yeah, it was
So
amazing. And then fucking the third movie's just as good. The third movie's really good.
9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
9 out of 10, baby. Heard it from us first. Maybe second, maybe third, but definitely not last.
We heard it from us first. So fuck you guys. No.
Here on the Pipeline Podcast. See you next week, baby.
God damn. We are so dumb. Oh my god.